everyone. In the last module we learned about plant tissues. As we all know, I have told the tissues is a very great chapter, big chapter. It cannot be covered in one module. So this is the second module of tissues, which is animal tissues. So animal tissues are basically of four types. First is the epithelial tissue, second is the connective tissue, third is the muscular tissues, and the fourth is the nervous tissue. Now let's learn about each of them in a great detail. First is the epithelial tissue. Epithelial tissue again has some modifications. First is squamous epithelium, then is the stratified epithelium, columnar epithelium, cuboidal epithelium, ciliated epithelium, and glandular epithelium. So let's learn each one of them also in detail. So first is the squamous epithelium. Now squamous epithelium is a thin, flat, irregular shaped cell. The cell which is there, it does not have a specific shape like circle or square or triangle, nothing like that. It has any irregular shape. Okay. Now it is very thin. Okay, and it is flat. It just looks like tiles which are there. Okay, in our the lower ceiling. So on that which are the tiles which are there, no, they just look like that. Okay. Now they are in the lining of cavities of ducts and also in the lining of blood capillaries. So with this you must have understood the function. Its function is that they diffuse the materials. Okay, some materials which are there, they have to be diffused. So this has been done by the squamous epithelium tissue. They also exchange gases across the membrane. Okay, since they are in the linings of the blood capillaries and the cavities of ducts. Next is the stratified epithelium. Now I would say that the stratified epithelium is a little different from all the epithelium types of tissues. Why I would say like that is that the other types which are there, they are the basic types I am talking about, not the modified types. The all other types which are there, they are only single layered. This is a multi-layered epithelium tissue by structure, and it has all stacked up one upon another. They are okay, and the basement is the most lowermost layer which is there of cells. It is on the basement membrane. Okay, so this with this location, with the structure itself, you can learn about location and function very easily. You can keep them in mind. The location is in epidermis of skin. Okay, and the function with this you can easily understand. Stratified epithelium is multi-layered, so it provides its protection, and it also prevents entry of germs because it is multi-layered. Columnar epithelium. By structure, with the name itself we understand columnar, that means it is going to be vertical like. Okay, so there are tall cells. Okay, the nucleus is usually at the base. So we can see these are tall cells, elongated tall cells. They are here also. This is the real picture, that is the diagram. So you can see the nucleus which is there is at the base. All the nucleus you can see, they are at the base. No nucleus is there above. Okay, all are at the base only. Okay, now these are in the lining of alimentary canal. Okay, they provide mechanical strength. Okay, let's move ahead. Cuboidal epithelium. Now with the name itself again you understand cuboidal, so that means it is cube like cells. You can see in the diagram, I guess. Yeah, you can see here you can see that these are cuboidal cells, cube like cells these are. Okay, so they are present in the kidney tubules and the salivary glands. Now their function is to provide again mechanical strength only. Okay, so let's go to the next part. Ciliated epithelium. Ciliated epithelium is also a little bit special. Let's see why. Now the cuboid or columnar cells which are there, you can see these are columnar cells, tall cells with having nucleus at the base. We can see, yeah, I hope you can see those cells. So they are having protoplasmic outgrowths. The protoplasm which is there, it means the cell which is there. No, say that suppose this is a cell. I'll take the pen. 1 minute. So yeah, So you suppose this is the basement membrane, this is the cell, okay. The nucleus is at the base. So this is the all other thing is the protoplasm, the plasma part, yeah. So suppose this is a cell, the protoplasm, which this is the nucleus, the protoplasm which is there, all this protoplasm which is there, it extends outwards, okay, and it gives a hair like structure, okay, just like the hair. That structure is called as the cilia, okay. Now the cilia which is there, what it does is that when certain things, now the location you see, its location is in the lining of trachea and in the lining of ureter or oviduct. So cilia which is there, it is easily movement it can take, okay. So whatever dust particles come in trachea, that is being just took off by the cilia, it is transported away by the cilia, okay. And the oviduct and ureter, it is helping in the movement of the urine towards downward direction and in the egg also. Next is the glandular epithelium. Now glandular epithelium is not like a basic, it is a modification, okay. It is a modified columnar epithelium which has goblet cells, okay. Goblet cells, as you can see in the screen here, these are the goblet cells, you can see here is again, these are the structure of goblet cells, okay. They are in the intestinal lining, and the sweat gland, the tear gland, the salivary gland. Your location, if you keep in mind, you will just understand the function. Function you keep in mind, you will understand the location. So you can see all the in the locations, it are all the glands only, okay. This, from this you can understand that the function is concerned with secretion of enzymes, okay, from the glands and also of the hormones. So this is the function. Now with the function also you can keep in mind about the location. You say function means it is secretion, it's concerned with secretion of enzymes and hormones. That means it is going to be near the glands. That means the location is going to be all those things. So in that way you can understand, okay. Next is the connective tissues. Epithelium tissue is complete. Now it's the connective tissue. Connective tissue are again of 4 types: areolar connective tissue, adipose connective tissue, skeletal connective tissue, and fluid connective tissue. So let's learn each of them. First is the areolar tissue. Areolar tissue is made up of white and yellow fibers with irregular cells. Okay, so there are white fibers in this. In this there are white fibers and the yellow fibers. Okay, now it is irregular shaped cells which are there. They are just scattered anywhere, like anyhow in the matrix, that is the plasma. You can see in this way. So whatever spaces are there inside an organ or around the muscles, whatever just they are there, spaces are there near the blood vessels and nerves, there it fills up the spaces. There are no like just there are no blockages, what we can say, it just fill up the spaces. There are no spaces present, otherwise it would be difficult for us, okay. So its function is to join the skin to muscle. We can understand from this itself that it's joining the skin to muscle, okay. There is no gap between them. It is supporting the internal organ because there it is not keeping any space there, okay. Then it fights the bacteria, okay, as it has yellow and white fibers, and it also helps in the repair of the tissues. Let's go ahead learning about the types of these areolar tissues. As we saw that areolar tissue is made up of white fibers and yellow fibers. The white fibers which are there, they form a cell, form a tissue, and the yellow fibers form a tissue. They are tendons and ligaments. The tendons are made up of white fibers and they are usually inelastic. They are not elastic, they are stiff, okay. Whereas the ligaments are made up of yellow fibers and they are elastic, okay. They are not stiff, they are elastic. Now the function of tendons which is there, that it joins the muscle to the bone, okay. Whereas the function of ligament is that it binds the bone to the bone only, okay. It binds three bones together, okay. Let's go ahead. Sorry, let me just, yeah. Next is the adipose connective tissue. By structure, it is oval or round cell filled with fat droplets. I hope you can see on the screen that these are oval or just round cells. Yeah, you can see here also it's oval or round cells. So they are filled up with the fat droplets. Yeah, so location, but this is again like the previous one, goblet cells. If you remember the location, you will be remembering the function. If you remember the function, you will remember the location. So just remember any one of them, you will automatically remember about the second one. The first is the location. Location is this is the below the skin. Okay, the subcutaneous fat which is there. The below the skin that fat is there, that is the adipose tissue, and it is also found between the internal organs. So its function is that it stores fat. Okay, now it stores fat in our body, and it also produces heat. If this was not there, adipose tissue was not there, it would all have been very, no fat was there, it would be very very skinny. So that is also not good. So henceforth, for storage of fat and for producing heat, produce heat, why? If our body is very cold, we can't sustain it. So for producing heat and storing fat, adipose tissue is there. Now the third part of connective tissue is skeletal connective tissue. They are again of two types, bone and cartilage. So let's learn about them also in detail. So first one is the bone. Bone is hard and is flexible enough. Okay, although we think that no, how can bone be flexible? But yeah, bone is flexible. It is a porous tissue. Although it's hard, it is a porous tissue and it has blood vessels present in it. The matrix which is there, it is made up of calcium phosphate. The location is that it forms the internal skeletal framework of the body. There is no such specific location because bones are completely in our body. So what they form the skeletal system. Henceforth, bones are the they form up the skeletal framework of the body. Its function is that it protects the internal delicate organs of the body. We all know in some cases the skull which is there, the skull is a type of bone which is protecting the brain. The rib cage is a type of bone that protects the lungs. So like that, in some places it is protecting the internal delicate organs. At some places it provides attachment for the muscles. You can see in the hands or in the fingers or in the legs, they attach, be an attachment for the muscles. They also help in locomotion. We all know very well how they help in locomotion. They are the bone marrow which is there. It also makes the blood cells. Okay, the bone marrow, that the bone marrow is nothing but the liquid part in it. That it's something that makes the blood cells. So this bone is just since we have learning about animal tissues, it's important that we learn about all tissues. Just so roughly, bone is explained over here. In some of the next our future modules, we'll also learn about the skeletal system in which we will learn about the bone in very much detail. Okay. So the next part is the ligament, the cartilage. By structure, it is non-porous tissue, just opposite to blood. It is non-porous. Intercellular matrix is composed of proteins, whereas that was composed of calcium phosphate. And this is slightly hardened by calcium salts. Okay, the blood vessels are absent over here. Now you can see that these here again same thing, location, function. Learn any one of them, you will remember the other one. The location is in the ear pinna, the nose tip, epiglottis, intervertebral disc of the mammals, and the rings of trachea. Now this is something that provides support and flexibility. You can see these are in the flexible and soft part of our body. Ear pinna which is there. You can just directly bend the ear pinna. You don't need any problem. It doesn't happen when you just in the nose tip. You can easily just, it is very much flexible. So here cartilage is present in the intervertebral disc. If cartilage was not present, then we could not bend and go up. So that would be very difficult. Again, there would be a pain in our back, and the trachea also. Here we can have a rotation in our neck. We can have a movement in our neck because the cartilage is present here. Just a minute. Huh? Next is the fluid connective tissue, which has again two parts, blood and lymph. The blood which is there, it consists of the fluid part, that's plasma, and the elements, which is red blood cells, white blood cells, and the platelets. Okay, red blood cells are also called as the erythrocytes. White blood cells, WBC, is also called as the leukocytes, and the platelets. So there in the blood, hemoglobin is also present, due to which blood is red. We will be also learning about circulatory system in coming chapters. So there we will be learning about these blood and lymph and all in very much detail, how it's pumped in the body, how it circulates, all that we'll be learning soon. So the location, it is in the blood vessels. Okay, the arteries, veins and capillaries are the blood vessels. They just circulate throughout the body. Now you can't just give specific names that it is in the eyes, ears, nose, hand, breath, heart and all. You can just not give all the body parts as the location. The paper would have been set for only the location of blood of 80 marks. That's jokes apart. So location of blood, you can have to say about that it is in the blood vessels, the arteries, veins and capillaries that just glow throughout the body. Then the next thing is about the function. Function is that it transports nutrients and oxygen to all parts of the body. Since it's circulating and it has nutrients, the dissolved in the plasma is the proteins and hormones and salts and enzymes. Since it has that, the nutrients which are there, they just go throughout the body, they circulate throughout the body. Okay, it fights diseases as it has the leukocytes, also called as the white blood cells, and it also helps in the clotting of blood. Okay, lymph, it is a straw colored fluid similar to blood in composition, but it does not have the red blood cells which are having the hemoglobin. Hence, it is not red. Okay, it has the white blood cells and the plasma. Okay, so its location is in the lymph vessels. Blood was in the blood vessels, lymph is in the lymph vessels. Now, lymph is something that transports nutrients to the heart, and it also forms the defense system of the body because it has WBC, that is white blood cells. Next is the muscular tissues. Muscular tissue are of three types: unstriated or smooth muscles, striated or skeletal muscles, and the cardiac muscles, which is a mixture of both of them. Unstriated smooth muscles, they are spindle shaped. You can see the spindle shaped. I hope you can. They are tapering at the ends. You can see. Yeah. Nucleus, it has only one nucleus, uninucleus, that is centrally located. Okay, has it in the center. Okay, there are myofibrils, which are these delicate thread-like structures. Okay, so they are the myofibrils. They do not have striations, that is, they do not have layers. Okay, by location, it is in the walls of alimentary canal and the internal organs, in the ducts of glands, urinogenital ducts, and also in the blood vessels they are present. Its function is that it's the slow prolonged contractions which are there, they are involuntary. Okay, now this is also called as the involuntary muscle. Why is that? Because it is, you can see it is in the all the involuntary body parts. So the function of it is that it just makes all the involuntary functions. Okay, so therefore it is called as the involuntary muscle. Next is the striated muscle, or also called as the skeletal muscle. Okay, by structure there are muscle fibers show alternate dark and light strips. Dark and light strips they are showing, that means they have striations. They have black layer, white layer, like that. They are long cylindrical embrace cell with a number of nucleus. So this is, you can see, long cell it is. It has a lot of nucleus. Okay, now each fiber is enclosed in a definite membrane called as the sarcolemma. Okay, the full complete thing is called as the sarcoplasm. Okay, the longitudinal myofibrils embedded in cytoplasm are called as the sarcoplasm. Okay, the location, it is in the muscles of limbs, body wall, face and neck. It provides locomotion and or other voluntary movements of the body. This can be called as the voluntary tissue or voluntary muscle. Why? Because it performs all the voluntary functions. Cardiac muscles. Cardiac muscles show characteristics of both striated and also unstriated muscles. Now, each fiber which is there is surrounded by sarcolemma and cytoplasm. Okay, longitudinal myofibrils and centrally located nucleus. All the characteristics. Cardiac muscle is in the cardiac muscle you can say it never gets tired. It is throughout because it's in the heart. We all know our heart has to go throughout our life. Only then we can live, otherwise we can't live. So cardiac muscles is the muscle that never tires. It is working throughout our life. But other which are there, voluntary and involuntary muscle, they get tired sometime in the life. Okay, but this cardiac muscle never. The location it occurs only in the heart, as I told. Its function is that it contracts and relaxes. Of the contraction and relaxation of heart take place in the muscles to distribute and pump the blood in various parts of the body. We all know in the circulatory system, if you learn, the heart which is there, it contracts and relaxes. So when that happens, the blood which is there in the heart, it just pumps out and circulates. The pressure by which it pumps out, it circulates in the whole body. We'll learn about this in detail in the circulatory system. But just now I have just brushed up so that you can learn heart tissue. Next, the last is the nervous tissue. It is made up of neurons, which are specialized cells. Now again, nervous system. Soon we will be learning about nervous system, but not now. Now we will just usually brush up with nervous tissue. Now it has a body, that is cell body, cell or cyton. It has a nucleus and a cytoplasm. This is the cyton. Okay, and it has a long protoplasmic extension known as the axon. Okay, it has a myelin sheath, the Schwann cell, the axon, the node of Ranvier. Many things there are. So we'll learn about this later. The nerve cells are present in the brain and the spinal cord. This is also, we all know that it conducts impulses. Its function is that it the perception of responsiveness of the animal and transmit of impulses. I hope you must have understood about these animal cells, animal tissues. Thank you.